fellow phlebotomists, should I say, because this is a Phlebfriday video, of course. So I wanted to talk about the Phlebfriday video, which is, you know, how I basically manifested with power of positive thinking and, you know, self-confidence, self-realizations, and just being inspired and motivated by motherhood, you know, just so anyways, in my other two videos, if you saw the first one titled My Journey in Becoming a Phlebotomist Part 1 and Part 2, so basically same titles and same idea, because the editing was funky. It wouldn't let me put the videos together and it wouldn't let me do certain things. So you know, just kind of how I, you know, came about on my first jobs and things like that. But I didn't really mention, like, you know, the whole interview process, and from my first interview with my very first phlebotomy job to my second interview with, like, my dream phlebotomy job it was, because at the time that was one of my biggest goals, one of my biggest, like, dreams and things, and it was really great. And I had gotten a phone call from the women in the office, and when I rolled up, it was so, like, when I got the call back, they're like, hey, you know, you put in an application online, we'd love to have an interview with you. Cool. So I was so psyched. My first phlebotomy interview in years. I had done, like, a previous phlebotomy interview, and in that interview, like, I would go and just write down, like I said, I studied you know, resumes. I looked at different resume templates, and I looked at you know, old resumes that I had done for other previous jobs and things like that. So, you know, I did a little bit of research. I did a little, like, canoodling around since my very first interview, which was like, okay, you know, try to spit the game, basically. Try to, you know, be like, okay, I've never done this before. And they were all like, yeah, we'll take people who've never done it before, and really, like, sell myself. But like I said, I ruined it by saying, oh, I'm gonna move in 3 months time, whatever. Then on my very first, we'll say my very first successful phlebotomist interview, small private hospital, okay, private lavish area, like, it's not a, like, interconnected, sorry, the traffic, it's not interconnected between, like, a group of hospitals. So when I went to that interview, they called me up, like I said, and I mistook them for somebody else. I was like, who is this? This is person who's been giving me trouble. I kind of answered a little unprofessionally, like, not crazy, you know, but, like, just like, who is this? And they're like, oh, it's, you know, yada yada, we saw your application online. And I was like, oh my gosh, yes. And they're like, do you still want the job? I was like, absolutely. And they were, like, really willing to just work around, you know, motherhood and things like that. They asked me a couple little questions, and then I was like, okay, come on in for an interview. So I came in for the interview, and I was just so thrilled. I was, like, nervous too, because it was my first, like, phlebotomy thing, and I looked into everything that I had written before. I looked into, like, phlebotomy resumes, what to say, how to, you know, swirl it to, because everywhere I worked was not a phlebotomist or hospital position at all. It was, like, gyms or cleaning or track, you know, or security guards, but it wasn't, like, the actual job that I wanted to be doing. So when I finally got there, you know, we had a really great interview. My bosses were really cool. It was, like, a very intimate setting. I kept it real and honest. I was like, you know, I've never done the heel stick thing before. We obviously never got to practice in class, but I was more confident in it, honestly, after becoming a mother than I think before becoming a mom, because I just felt like, okay, having that connection, like, I know what it's like, I know what your kids have to go through, my kids had to go through the same things, so I could kind of relate more on, like, a parenthood level. And I don't know if I would have been so successful or willing to like do that part of the job before becoming a mom, honestly. So it was all in great timing that it all worked out. So for my interview, you know, I'm a believer in, like, magic is everything. You know, you don't have to believe this, or you can, you know, whatever your belief is, thing that floats your boat and sets your sail, whatever speaks to you, okay? Go within that, look internally for the answers, because you're always going to find the best answers when you look within. And so I said, I'm thinking to myself, what should I do to enhance my chances, okay, other than the typicals, like typical phlebotomy advice. Okay, talk about heel sticks, talk about, you know the order of draw, you know what you're talking about, you know how important turnaround time is, you know, you know, you're willing to do all these things. You want to be there to help people, and you know, you're great with people of all ages. Maybe you worked in customer service. I mean, I worked customer service, so, you know, I would always bring up, like, you know, I love working with people, and I've worked with people for so many years, so I have a good repertoire, you know, like I said, with all ages. So I kind of just put that in there, and I was talking and speaking to them literally about, like, that, and also how I did housekeeping, and I threw that, how that could incorporate. And I was like, you know, all my life, sanitation has been very important. You know, I like to keep things looking immaculate. I like my workstation to be nice, clean, and organized. Like, I really threw that because it's true. And it's something that they'll see in you if maybe they've never considered, or, you know, you're very brand new, fresh starting out. So just, like, show them, like, sell them, really. You have to, like, kind of sell yourself to this situation. Not, like, in a bad way, but, like, sell them your personality, your work ethic. You know, you have a few minutes to, like, win it with that interview. And I just, like, went in with all the punches. You know what I'm saying? Like, I went in and I was like, I can do this. I can do that. I'm willing to do this. I'm willing to make the schedule. This is my feeling. I mean, I kept it real and I kept it honest. And I think that's important for everything in life, but for that especially, and being so confident, even though I've never physically done it, was like the ticket in. Also, like I said, on the magic-based side of things for myself and my beliefs, I also brought some stones, you know, the prosperity and the prosperity and success stone. You know, stones, good luck stuff. Like, I did a quartz, I had, like, you know, sage before I went in. You know, these are all things that are super important to it. And of course, the number one thing that we've always done, because our mother suggested this and our mother taught us, sorry for the traffic, we'll wait for the big boy to drive by, what she always did for us and always, like, recommended, and we, maybe it's placebo or maybe whatever, I can't explain it, but our good luck toast. You know, it's cinnamon sugar toast in the morning with your plant butter or real butter of choice. I'm dairy free. And yeah, it was a very, like, positive. It's the good luck toast. It's the interview success toast that's gonna, like, rock it out and help you get what you want with the career, like advancing your career. And it totally helped because, of course, you know, looking back now, I can say, okay, I got the job. You know, it was the first time I really incorporated, like, stones into an interview, like having them in my pocket, you know, saying little mantras, really believing in myself, really, like, studying things, resumes, asking myself, like, going over questions. What are the questions that they're going to ask me? What are my skill sets? What have I done so far in my life that could relate potentially to what I'm going to do? And this isn't just, like, advice for an interview for a phlebotomy. Even this is advice for any job that you want to go to and do, any job that you want to, like, get successful in. Swing it. So, you know, use your brain. Like I said, look things up, swing it to your advantage, what you're all about, or what you're all about, where you're going, what you want to do. And that's the most important thing. So keeping it real for me has always been the best choice. Always worked to my advantage. And not even in a negative, malicious way or anything. It's just positively, how can you be honesty? It's the best policy still to this day. Second interview, okay? So I'm working in phlebotomy. I'm working on my other job for, you know, about 2 years. I got pregnant along the way. And I had already had this feeling. I liked it because I knew it was like a stepping stone lab. This lab was actually, like, closer to home, whatever. And I still am there every once in a while, as you can see from my other Phlebfriday videos, but you know, being there every once in a while, like, I just was inspired to want to do more. So I wanted to try again for my original initial place of dream job, whatever. So I went back in time. I re-logged into, like, the online, you know, thing. And now that I had some experience under my belt, especially a plethora of experience, because for one thing, if you're working in a hospital, you get such a good mix of things. Now we're going to talk phlebotomy, okay? You get such a mix of, like, okay, I was doing, for instance, floor draws. Then you have, you know, the flow, like ER, ICU, the intensive care units, the floors, outpatient. So I got a mix of everything. We even had a nursing home at our facility. We had, what else? Let's see, nursing home, you know, transfusions and stuff. We didn't really do too much with our, I didn't, because I didn't work days. I was a night shifter, so we didn't have as many on my shift with blood bank. I mean, we did, like, where I started off was such a good mix for me, was such a good, like, direction, because it really gave me a taste of different things. I didn't get a taste of, like, plasma stuff. I mean, you know, doing that part of it. I didn't get a taste of, like, you know, certain other things, like a big, like, what is it, whole blood, like a whole blood experience where you take a pint of blood from somebody, like American Red Cross. I didn't get that, but the other things were super awesome and super meaningful. And, like, in my second interview, you know, I went back and I, you know, channeled, like, okay, what did I do for this time? And I could put more experience, and I could put, like, I had experience with all these things, and, you know, went back to customer care, and now I have customer care in this way, and just, you know, owning up to if I had to repoke somebody, you know, not making it a big deal, like I didn't do something wrong, and we all make mistakes, we all do things, but just showing them that, you know, I'm accountable, you know, talking about how I'm accountable for my actions mostly and for what I'm doing. So that was super important to me to convey and portray. So basically what I'm trying to say is, don't be afraid to go to different hospitals and, you know, work at that hospital that's some odd, you know, minutes away or whatever. It might be closer, it might be a better opportunity. If anything, it's great for experience, it's a great foot in the door, and it's a great stepping stone, and you get that little taste. So even if you don't want to stick with phlebotomy, that's the best part about this field, is that you can branch off and go other places, and it's a perfect stone to get you, like a stepping stone to get you. I hate to say it 20 different times, but to get you where you want to go eventually. And maybe, heck, you'll be a nurse, you'll be a medical technician, you know, medical lab technician. The possibilities are endless, and it's a great place you can grow. It's a simple process. Sometimes you don't need to get a background screening, like schooling, I should say, for it. You know, sometimes you do need to have more of a class settings, you know, for it. So just look around, but a lot of places are open to taking you in and training you on the job. My other job, I was just thinking of things that I could learn and improve on. I felt like there wasn't much more that we could be doing. I heard from other phlebotomists that I worked with that worked at other places, like that they were aliquoting, they were, you know, using the pipettes to pull the plasma, you know, and separate it from the red blood cells and stuff once it was spun out in the centrifuge. So I wanted to do more along those lines. I didn't want to just draw blood and that was that. I wanted to have a little more thought, a little more like, okay, what does this test do? What do these things do? Sorry, the traffic's crazy. And so I just was looking for more. I wanted more, I guess, responsibilities too. I wanted more knowledge. I wanted to see if I really wanted to go further route into this other thing. You just don't know. So we were checking into that. And don't be afraid to, like, ask around and see what else you can do. A lot of times people even got mad at me because, you know, I would just ask, and that's all it is just ask. Can I do this? Can I do that? You know, I talked to my bosses, would you be open to allowing me to help you with that? And sometimes it'd be like, not really your scope. Sometimes it would be like, yes, you know, absolutely. We trust you to do that. We trust your help, whatever, completely. That's great. You have experience. By all means, come on board. So you don't know. So anyways, so when I got this interview for my, like, dream position, I was always just grateful for where I was, grateful for the phlebotomy position that I had, grateful for helping, you know, patients out and things like this. My experiences with confirmations, synchronicities, that I was doing the right thing, I was in the right place. And when I had my next, you know, interview with my dream job, I wanted to make it known. I didn't say I was gonna move. I kept it honest, and I was like, I'm a mom, but, you know, these are the times that I'm open to come through. You know, I have a secure, you know, place for my kids to go. If you need to take me on days and train me on days, just know we can work around it. So just being open, talking, you know, things out is the most important thing. And so I talked it out with them, and I gave them my honest thing. I said, listen, I do heal sticks. I'm not a huge fan of them. And, you know, I said I might not be the best. I have a hard time with the hematology specimens sometimes. They like to clot up super fast, you know, and have that, you know, method down. And they were cool with it. They were honest. So, you know, that I was being so honest and stuff. So they opened up, they were like, oh, you're gonna be doing this and that, and I was like, well, this is what I can do, my strengths, my weaknesses, like laid it all on the line. So then that went well, but then I didn't hear back. So I was like, what? So some places you have to be persistent. Like if you really want it, don't be nagging, like calling every single day. But I was calling like every other day if it got to days in between, and was playing a little bit of phone tag. And then I found out that the person who I had the interview with to begin with during like this change of year, because it was like what, January or something, or I don't know. So I was like waiting, and I didn't give up because I was just hanging on to, okay, what can go through? I got it. I had an interview, they said something, they didn't say no. So I kept it hopeful, and I had my other job, and I was like doing all that. And then, you know, I called them again. And sometimes it's just a matter of papers get lost. People, you know what I mean? Especially bigger hospitals, you know, not an excuse, but it just seemed like this was the trend. So then I called back and I said, hey, what's good? You know, I had this interview, whatever. And they were like, oh, the person doesn't work there. The supervisor's changed. Things changed quite a lot here. You know, they did call me back, and I stayed hopeful about it. And, you know, I kept it real. Like I said, every single time, you know, keeping it real. And, you know, just being honest, like what I could do, what I couldn't do, what my hours were. And just kept my options in my mind open. But you know, eventually I did get that job. I had a lot of responsibilities. I actually talked it up so good that I thought I understood correctly that I was certified, and then that's the day that I learned that I am certified in New York class and schooling. So that part of it was true of certification, but I wasn't NHA certified. So I was making more money. I was considered a lab specialist too, which was the next level up, which is a leader position. So I just gave it to them enough. I was like really myself enough that they were like, whoa, you know, we could totally see you being like, you're the right one for this job. Like we can see you growing with it, whatever. So just be real, be you. And you just never know, you know what I'm saying? So please keep that confidence. Confidence is like 100% of it. Believe in yourself. Don't give up. Don't get discouraged. We've all been there, no matter what it is in life. And you know, keep trying, because you just don't know how it could pan out, what direction it could take you to something better. You know, you just don't know until you try. So just do it, you know. So, and know that I've tried this, that I've done this, and that I can give you guys this advice is like the best way to go. So then you can see kind of like where I'm at, what I'm talking about, and you know, you can base it around there or whatever, and go from there and see what happens. Plastic Jules, I love her to goodness gracious. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad her channel is thriving, because she's such a great like phlebotomy content out there, okay? And she really keeps it real. She's got a lot of other fun stuff on there as well, but please check out her channel. I'll put a link somewhere so you guys can check it out. I meant to say it the last couple times because I've been yearning for like some really good phlebotomist, you know, phlebotomist channels. And maybe if there's some other great ones out there, please feel free to drop them below. But she really resonated with me, and I really like her stuff, and I want to like shout out to her in this video. If you want more phlebotomy basics and learning and questions, she's in it, man. She's been doing it for longer than I have. I've been doing it for, what, let's see, for like 3 years, which isn't a lot, especially for those who have been in the game for so long, but it's enough years and enough full-time and overtimes that, you know, I really feel, you know, pretty seasoned. I've gone through a couple scenarios. I had to use a couple different things, learning more how to use the syringes at an old school hospital. So that was a good thing to kind of have under the belt, even though people don't use it too much. You don't have to, but it's a good method to have. But yeah, check out her channel. I hope you guys enjoyed my advice, and just my vlog talking about how I landed my job, you know, phlebotomy jobs. Hopefully just to remind myself that I got this, I can do this. You know, you are powerful, you got it. You know, the divine, your source, your God, whatever, they got your back, you know, and whatever you want is yours. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can achieve it. All right, you guys, thank you guys so much for watching this. I hope you guys slam those interviews and rock it out. Don't forget to eat that cinnamon toast, cinnamon sugar bread in the morning, especially that day right in the morning before you go to your interview, or even if you're not waking up in the morning, just take it, eat it before you go. I swear it helps. Feel good, feel sugary, feel happy. Cinnamon is a good luck charm. And cinnamon's a good luck, prosperity thing. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next video.